If you're a man over 60 who's been told you need a woman to be complete, I am about to shatter that lie completely. Because here's the harsh truth. No one's telling you. The most successful men in this age bracket, whether they're single dating or married, all share one secret that makes them absolutely magnetic to women, and it has nothing to do with needing anyone's validation. By the end of this video, you'll discover whether you actually need a woman in your life or not. How to build genuine happiness and fulfillment regardless of your relationship status. And most importantly, how to become the type of man who naturally attracts women instead of chasing after them desperately. Listen. Here's the lie society sold you that a man's worth after 60 is determined by whether he has a woman by his side, that somehow if you're single, you're incomplete. If you're married but struggling, you should just be grateful for what you have. If you're dating, you should be desperately trying to lock someone down before it's too late. This is psychological poison, and it's exactly why most men over 60 walk around with this invisible cloud of neediness that women can smell from a mile away. In my decade plus of working with men in this age group, I've discovered something that'll shock you. The men who are most successful in relationships, whether they choose to be in them or not, operate from a position I call relationship independence. And honestly, it changes everything. Now, if you want to discover exactly where you stand in terms of sexual magnetism after 60 and get the complete roadmap to developing this kind of unshakable confidence, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Because what I'm about to share goes against everything you've been taught about dating after 60. And I've got a powerful self-assessment that'll show you exactly what makes men your age irresistible. More on that in a minute. So here's what probably happened to you. And I see this. With about 80% of the men I work with in cities like Phoenix, Dallas, and Tampa somewhere along the way, you started believing that your happiness, your social status, even your identity was tied to having a woman validate your worth. Maybe it was after divorce. Maybe it was losing your wife. Maybe you never married and society made you feel like something was wrong with you. But here's the brutal reality. That energy of needing someone creates exactly the opposite result you're looking for. Women over 60, the quality ones. They've been dealing with desperate men for decades. They can spot emotional neediness faster than a bloodhound, and it repels them instantly. But here's the part that'll shock you. The men who are absolutely killing it after 60. Whether they're single dating or in relationships, they all share one characteristic. They've answered the question, do I need a woman, with a resounding no, but I might choose one. You know what I mean? There's a massive difference between operating from need versus operating from choice. When you need something, you're coming from scarcity. When you choose something, you're coming from abundance. I had a client in Denver, Robert, 64 years old, came to me desperate. Hadn't been on a date. In 3 years after his divorce, within 6 months of shifting his mindset from, I need to find someone to, I'm building an amazing life that someone might want to join. He had 3 different women interested in him. And here's the kicker, he chose none of them initially, because he realized he was actually enjoying his independence. Now let me be crystal clear about something. I'm not saying relationships are bad. If you're married and happy, that's fantastic. If you're dating someone amazing, incredible. What I'm saying is that your emotional state, your happiness, your sense of worth cannot be dependent on another person's presence in your life. This is what I call relationship independence. The ability to be completely fulfilled, whether you're alone or with someone. And paradoxically, this makes you infinitely more attractive to potential partners and infinitely more valuable to current ones. Here's why this matters specifically for men over 60. You've got life experience, you've built things. You've survived challenges, you have resources, wisdom, and hopefully some financial stability. You're not some 25-year-old kid who doesn't know who he is yet. So why are you acting like your worth depends on someone else's approval? If this is hitting home, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because I'm going to show you exactly how to develop this mindset. And comment below with independence if you're ready to stop operating from desperation and start operating from choice. Okay. Now I need you to pay close attention from here. You see, developing this mindset isn't about becoming some cold, emotionally unavailable hermit. It's about building 3 specific pillars that make you magnetic, whether you're single or taken. The first pillar is to complete your own circle. So here's the fact. Most men over 60 have this half-finished life they're trying to get someone else to complete. You know what I'm talking about. Once I find the right woman, then I'll be happy. Then I'll travel. Then I'll try new things. Then I'll feel fulfilled. Wrong, dead wrong. The magnetic men. I know. Like my client. Frank and Austin. 67 years old, they've built complete circles. Frank takes cooking classes, travels to Portugal. Solo. Has his morning routine, his hobbies, his social circle. When he dates someone, she's not completing a circle, she's adding to an already full life. See the difference. Now to pillar 2, you should develop outcome independence. Here's something that sounds crazy but works like magic. You have to become genuinely okay with any outcome in your relationships. If she wants to see you again, great. If she doesn't, also, great. If your wife wants to work on the marriage, fantastic. If she doesn't, you'll be fine either way. This isn't about not caring. It's about not being attached to outcomes you can't control. When you're outcome independent, you show up as your authentic self instead of trying to manipulate results through people-pleasing or desperation. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, and this is backed by decades of relationship psychology research. When you genuinely don't need someone, you become infinitely more attractive to them. It's called the attraction paradox, and it works at every age, but it's especially powerful for men over 60. Think about it. What's more attractive? A man who's desperately trying to convince you he's worthy of your time, or a man who clearly has a full, interesting life that he's generous enough to share? With you, I had a client in Miami, David, 62, successful guy. But after his wife passed, he was dating from this place of, I'm so lonely. Please save me from myself. Zero attraction. Once he shifted to, I'm building an incredible life. Want to see what that looks like? Completely different results. Now, if you're currently in a relationship, married, long-term partnership, whatever, this applies to you too, maybe even more so because nothing kills attraction in a long-term relationship faster than neediness and codependence. Your partner fell in love with a man who had his own life, his own interests, his own goals. If you've become this person who can't function without their constant validation and presence, you fundamentally changed the dynamic that created attraction in the first place. The most successful long-term relationships I see among men over 60. Both people maintain their individual identities while choosing to share their lives. They don't lose themselves in the relationship. They bring their complete selves to it. Now here's another harsh truth. Society has programmed you to believe that being single after 60 is some kind of failure, that you should be settling down or finding companionship for your golden years. Complete. Some of the happiest, most fulfilled men I know over 60 are single by choice. They've tried marriage. Maybe it worked for a while, maybe it didn't. But they've discovered something that most men never figure out. Their happiness comes from within, not from someone else's presence in their life. And you know what's interesting? These men, when they do choose to date or enter relationships, they attract incredible women because they're not coming from desperation. They're coming from abundance. So how do you develop this relationship independence? How do you shift from operating from need to operating from choice? Step 1, the completeness audit. Right now. Today, I want you to make a list of everything you're waiting to do until you find the right person. Travel plans you've put on hold, hobbies you've abandoned, social activities you've stopped because you don't have a +1. This week, not next month, this week. Pick one thing from that list and do it solo. Show yourself that you don't need anyone's permission or participation to live your life. Step 2, the Independence Challenge. For the next 30 days, operate as if you're completely self-sufficient emotionally. If you're single, stop looking for someone to complete you. If you're in a relationship, stop requiring constant validation from your partner. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means being secure in yourself. It means having your own opinions, your own interests, your own goals that exist independently of anyone else's approval. Step 3, the attraction reset. Here's the part that might sound counterintuitive. If you're dating or wanting to date, take a complete break from trying to attract anyone for 60 days. Focus entirely on becoming the most interesting, fulfilled version of yourself. Join that club, take that class, start that project, build relationships with other men who are living interesting lives. Become someone who has stories to tell, experiences to share, wisdom to offer. When you re-enter the dating world, if you choose to, you'll be operating from a completely different energy. The energy of choice, not need. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Dr. Scott, this sounds like you're telling me to give up on love or relationships. Not at all. What I'm telling you is to give up on desperation. Give up on the lie that your worth is determined by someone else's presence in your life. Love is incredible. Relationships can be amazing, but they should be the cherry on top of an already delicious sundae, not the entire meal. When you operate from relationship independence, you make better choices. You don't settle for relationships that drain you because you're afraid of being alone. You don't stay in situations that aren't serving you because you think it's your only option. And paradoxically, you become infinitely more attractive to the kind of high-quality partners you actually want to be with. Now I've created a complete self-assessment called Am I Still Sexually Attractive? The 60-con self-test that reveals the truth. And this isn't some feel-good quiz. This reveals the specific traits that make men over 60 absolutely irresistible to quality women. Whether you choose to be single or in a relationship, it's normally $27, but I'm giving it away free to subscribers. You'll find the link in the description and pinned in the comments. Also hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you're ready to stop operating from need and start operating from choice. Because next week I'm sharing the 3 conversation techniques that make women over 50 absolutely fascinated by you. And they work whether you're single, dating, or married. Comment below with choice if you're ready to embrace relationship independence. And let me know what's one thing you've been waiting to do until you find the right person. Because I guarantee you, once you start doing those things now, you'll become the kind of man that right person is looking for. Remember, gentlemen, you're not too old to be magnetic. You're just operating from the wrong energy. Fix the energy and everything else follows. I'm Dr. Avery Scott, and I'll see you in the next one on Dark Facts 2.0.